Hello, I am Genesis Alejandro Arcoletti, and today I'm about to discuss the environmental policy and technological dimensions as a requirement for the subject PRN 565.5 Science and Technology and Environment Management. So sit back and relax and listen carefully. So to start with, what is environmental policy? So environmental policy is a tool used by a government, corporation, or other public or private body to assess the consequences of human activities to the environment, particularly those actions aimed at preventing or reducing adverse effects on ecosystem. So it's like a measurement to monitor the level of hazards to the environment if it is still healthy working nature. So why does environmental policy important? Since environment values are rarely considered in corporate decision making, environment policies are required. So there are actually two major causes for environmental consequences. So first and foremost is economic externalities. So polluters are rarely held accountable for their acts and harmful consequences are often felt elsewhere or in the future. So what is economic externalities? So economic externalities occurs when the production or consumption of a given thing or service had an adverse effect on a third party who is not directly involved in the production or consumption of the good or service. So, example of economic externalities. So, I actually have here negative and positive example of this. So, the first is the positive. If you are a consumer and about to buy something in a market with a lot of neighboring stores, but you can't visit them all, rather you go to few specific store you want to buy from. Other store may benefit if you goes into other more store than original planned, yet other store can benefit from the popularity of its surroundings. So in this case, a third party benefits at no direct cost. So for negative example, car manufacturers and other goods and television manufacturers, they leave carbon emission and it can be a serious external effect from air pollution. So in this case, there are negative consequences that results which third party is not compensated. So second is natural resources are usually always undervalued since we are frequently expected to have endless supply, and natural resources can be viewed as common resources that anybody can exploit for their own gain. So since there is a huge supply, then resources are cheaper or underpriced. So it's just like a basic economics of the law of demand and supply. So the higher the supply, the price is low, and so the price is high, the supply is low. Environmental policy instrument. A variety of tools had been created to affect the behavior of individuals who contribute to environmental issues. Traditionally, public policy theories have centered on government tools such regulations, financial incentives, and information. However, new policy instruments have been utilized such performance standards and tradable permits. Regulations is employed to enforce minimum environmental quality standards. So, these interventions are designed to stimulate or discourage certain activities and their consequences, such as specific emission, specific inputs into the environment, like for example, particular hazardous substances, ambient chemical concentrations, risk, and damages, and of course, exposure. So, regulations is a powerful tool for prescribing and controlling behavior. Why? Because regulations are rigid. They are difficult to change and can be considered a strength also because rigidity guarantees that regulations did not change too frequently. So rigidity, on the other hand, can be viewed as flaws since it limits innovations by requiring individuals to adhere to the legal systems rather than developing new technology. Financial incentives. So, governments have the option of providing positive or negative financial incentives to encourage behavioral change. How? Through subsidies, tax discounts, or fines and levies. So, incentives like this can help stimulate inventions as well as the distribution and adoption of new ideas. So, a perfect example for this is that uh, if you are working on a factory or in a mining company or even in a hospital, if you're a doctor or a nurse, the company or the agency imposed hazard pays based on the working environment. So it's like hazard allowance. So you get an extra payment based on the nature of the work you have. Environmental reporting and eco-leveling. Several tools are available to inform decision makers about environmental consequences of their activities. The majority of decisions are made based on the cost-benefits analysis that, that excludes environmental cost and benefits. The Environmental Impact Assessment or EIA. So what is EIA? EIA is a tool that aids public decision makers in making decisions about projects that have significant to environmental impact. So EIA is an specialized tools or yeah for road building and industrial facility construction, dam or shopping malls. Environmental management systems are comprehensive ways that assist firms in decreasing their use of natural resources, lowering expenses, and contributing to a positive image when accredited. Consumers are informed about the environmental performance of certain products and services by eco-labels and certificates. Governments may require such labels and certificates, like for example, European Union, so they put EU eco-label markings, which certifies that the product meets minimal requirements for the consumer's safety, health, and environmental friendliness. What is technological dimension? So, the technological dimension includes scientific and technological advancement in a specific industry as well as in a society at large. In recent years, dimensions has left its mark a wide range on businesses. Many businesses didn't have desktop PCs 20 years ago. So, computer networks, internet connectivity, video conferencing capabilities, fax machines, and laptops are now practically expected as standards in workplace equipments. So, meaning technological dimension has something to do with transition of our technology to advancement. Okay, so that ends our topic for today. So I hope you learned something. So that's all. Thank you. God bless and goodbye.